Well, today we have a fun tour. We're in Ponca City and we're going to be touring several of the water gardens in the area. And our first stop is at the home of Michael Welch, and he's actually the president of the Pioneer Water Garden Society. And Michael, thank you so much for inviting us over today.
Well, thank you for coming up, Brenda.
So, now you've got a beautiful water garden here, and it looks established. How long has it been here?
This will be the 5th summer that this one's been in.
Oh, this is very, very nice. Now, a lot of people, when they put their water gardens in, they kind of wonder, what am I supposed to do about my pumps, my filtration? That's a lot of equipment, and you really want that kind of disguised, don't you?
Yes. And what I had done in mine here was to build this partial rock, and I used a red cedar house, and I wanted it to look like either a spring house or an old pump house.
That is cute.
And that's where I put my pump, and I've got 2 different filters in there that I use.
And I like your stream that kind of comes into your pond here. That's very natural looking.
Yeah, of course it's got a rubberized liner in it like the pond does, and I got it releasing 2 different places in there, and then there's one hose I got run goes directly into the pond, but it comes through there fairly slowly, and I did not want a lot of rushing sound. I did not want a waterfall that you could hear out in the front of the house. And to me, I mean, this here is just loud enough. If you got the door or window open on the patio, you can hear the trickling of water. But it catches a lot of the settlements, fine settlements that's still in the water, and they settle on down in the bottom of the stream.
That's very nice. Now, your pond here, how deep is it?
It's about 29 to 30 inches deep, actual water depth.
And you have fish in here. Are these koi?
Most of them are koi. There's a few gulls left.
Okay.
I've got some fish in there. It's an African fish. It's for mosquitoes, but you don't really have mosquito problems, and that's one question you get by a lot of people, because you've got constantly moving water, and filtration of water is not stagnant, so you don't have the problem with mosquitoes.
Right. Now, your pond area here, to me it looks like it's pretty shaded, and we're here in the morning.
Yeah, when I started out 5 years ago, it was all these trees was all put in new, and of course they was all small, and so in 5 years I've got a lot of height on the pecan trees, which was already here, and all those trees. So now I'm running into a shortage of blooms on my water lilies. So
I've noticed you've still got one.
So I got one there, and so you got a bee just now come out. But I'm going to have to look at some varieties that require less sun, and that'll solve that problem.
Oh, good. Now, this is something that I noticed that you've set up here. Since you've got your fish, you've got a lot of your plants actually over here in this bog area.
Koi have a tendency to destroy plants. I've got a water lily in here, one of them, for some reason they really like it. They keep uprooting that one. And I'll catch it out here floating around, so I'll have to replant it. But the little ones can get up in there. Of course, they get in there just to kind of get away from everybody else.
Right.
But the water hyacinths are a very good filtration system. They're tropical. They come in here usually out of Florida, and so they won't winter over. And then I've got some Louisiana irises in there, and the black taro, and the arrowhead, and I've got some zebra grass, which in the spring is just beautiful. There's some dwarf cattails in there, and there's I believe they call it a royal pennywort that grows on the edge, and a lot of that winter's over. It's just a matter of cutting off the vegetation and just leaving it submerged in water. Okay.
Now, you've got everything in this bog area in individual pots?
Yes.
Okay.
It's much easier. And they get so root bound, usually I have to end up cutting the pot off and cutting the plant in half and repotting it into another pot, and I don't have to fertilize them or do nothing.
Wow. Well, that's nice. Well, Michael, this is a very nice, peaceful spot in the garden, and we really appreciate you showing it to us.
We hope you've enjoyed this classic from the Oklahoma Gardening Vault. Remember, even though these tips and techniques are timeless, there's always something new to learn in the world of gardening. By subscribing to both Oklahoma Gardening and OK Gardening Classics, you'll have access to a wealth of gardening knowledge, both classic and contemporary.